The U.S. has now passed 4 million cases of the coronavirus, the total doubling in just the last 6 weeks. 144,000 Americans have died from the virus, and now the CDC is warning we could see 15 to 30,000 more die over the next 3 weeks. This comes as some states see a dramatic spike in cases like in California and Florida. At least 50 hospitals in Florida have 0 ICU beds available. And in Mecklenburg County, hospitalizations have increased slightly. During the last week, an average of 197 people were hospitalized in the county. That's a slight increase over the last 14 days. But health leaders expect hospitalizations to go down. That's because we're seeing more testing available and more people with mild to no symptoms. And while some local counties are seeing a spike in cases, Gadsden County might be starting to flatten the curve. Reporter Ken Lemon joins us live now. And Ken, you got your hands on some new data that's indicating that things might be slowing down there. But health officials are also saying this is not time for really people to let their guard down, right?
Yeah, the health director told me those numbers are down, but that by no means means it is time to relax. He says this needs to become a trend for weeks. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, the positive test rates here were 18%. Now that's 13%. There are about 100 new cases every day. A couple of weeks ago, that's dropped to about 70. And this week, 60 new cases daily. About a third of those tests are members of the Latinx community. And 70% of those, 71%, that revised number, those are new cases that involve people under the age of 49 years old, smashing that misconception that COVID-19 is only impacting the elderly.
We need as a community to, again, make sure that that population, the younger population, takes this seriously, wears their mask, socially distanced, because again, it's not just their health, it's the health impacts that it has on their loved ones.
And starting at 5 o'clock, we go into those numbers and look at some of those areas where the health director says there is still work to do, Genevieve.
Well, many families are nervous about what's going to happen when that extra $600 in unemployment each week ends tomorrow. Federal lawmakers are debating what to do next. Democrats want to extend the $600, and Republicans are willing to extend some money, but not the full amount. Lawmakers are also talking about a temporary bridge, which would mean some money until they can come up with a more definitive plan. And Action 9 investigator Jason Sujanke has been following both stimulus and unemployment aspects of this pandemic every week since March. He's going to be digging into all of that data today to walk you through these competing plans and the timeline, and that's going to start at 5 o'clock tonight. Well, we're going to turn now to another big concern, going back to school. Late last night, Cabarrus County parents learned their children will be learning from home full-time starting in August. As reporter Gina Esposito learns and explains to us tonight, last night's closed vote by the school board shows that people are divided on how to teach children this fall.
Yeah, because, just last week, Plan B was an option for Cabarrus County schools where students would go into the classroom at least one day a week, remote the rest. But last night, board members voted 4-3 for Plan C, which means when students go back in the fall, it'll be all remote learning. I want to show you some video of that virtual meeting from last night. Under Plan C, students would be remote Monday through Thursday. During that time, there'll be daily live instruction, video lessons, and social-emotional learning. Friday will be an independent work day, and teachers will hold office hours. Cabarrus County Schools also launched a brand new virtual learning academy for parents who have already decided on remote learning for their children. Parents have until the end of the month to apply for that. As you saw from last night, the vote was close. Some board members did not agree with the plan.
At the end of the day, our job as a board is to provide the best education that we can for the kids of Cabarrus County. And to make sure that we're providing them with a quality education. And right now, we're not.
We all have to up our game starting when we start back here. And that means teachers have to up their game. Teachers' expectations of students have to be upped. because we're now going to be grading and working on it. And parents' expectation for teachers has to be up.
The district will continue to monitor COVID-19 cases. You know, it's very possible that maybe sometime later in the year they could recommend a safe transition for more in-person learning. Back to you.
All right, Gina, thank you. Well, a new poll shows more than half of American parents are worried that their kids are falling behind in education. Meanwhile, about the same amount of parents don't want in-person classes this fall because of COVID-19 concerns. The new ABC News and IPAS poll found that 59% of parents worry that their kids are falling behind. 55% don't want schools to reopen for in-person teaching in a few weeks, and 44% are willing to send their kids back to school. Now, the White House is asking Congress to provide more than $100 billion to help schools reopen in the fall. Now, a big sticking point with Senate Republicans is that President Trump wants that money withheld from schools that don't reopen. The president said yesterday schools could use the money to do whatever's necessary to comply with the CDC's guidelines on reopening. And some are worried about the impacts this pandemic could have on people during hurricane season. The nation's top emergency official has been back in Washington, D.C. this week, and our Washington correspondent Serena Marshall has been monitoring that hearing.
Good afternoon. A pretty shocking statistic from FEMA's administrator. There are currently 114 concurrent emergency declarations in the U.S., at least one in every state. Administrator Gaynor was confident when asked if they are prepared for wildfires, hurricanes, and COVID-19 happening simultaneously, saying they're an all-hazard agency, that they've responded to disasters throughout the pandemic, from wildfires in the South to flooding in Michigan. However, he did put much of the onus on being prepared for hurricane season on local municipalities, explaining they issued guidance back in May to examine their current plans and apply lessons from COVID.
It's a complicated response. On a good day for a hurricane, non-COVID-19, it can be complicated. It will be further complicated by the considerations of COVID-19 when you think about evacuations, sheltering, and needing more space, needing more time. Right. So we're asking everyone to lead in.
Some of the big concerns, how emergency shelters can socially distance people and screen for COVID. It comes as Tropical Storm Hannah takes aim at the Gulf Coast of Texas. Reporting from outside Washington, I'm Serena Marshall, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.